Hi, I would like to introduce you to Lance. Lance here has had a lot of poor math experiences. He has felt humiliated when he has gotten the wrong answers, when he's made mistakes. He really struggles to understand math. He feels like he's one of those people that just can't do math. Lance has a fixed mindset at this point. He feels that he can't do math. We want Lance and other students like him to transition into an open mindset, that they keep going even when the work is hard. They are persistent, they keep trying. Instead of using tricks, we want students to develop their own methods, make sense of problems, and connect with each other. This is better than learning how to carry the one and flipping the fraction when dividing, where they develop their own methods. Building with manipulatives can be done even in the high levels of the classroom, where students can draw visuals that connect to the concept that they are learning. We want students to ask questions, to have the freedom to make mistakes. As a teacher, welcome those mistakes into the classroom. The plasticity of the brain is incredible. We don't have to be aware of mistakes for those brain sparks to occur. Research says that everyone can learn math to the very highest levels. So I have here some real ideas to get you started. Welcome those mistakes in the classroom. Encourage students to keep going, keep trying, to learn from their mistakes. Encourage them to take risks, to get to the bottom of those misunderstandings. Their brains are growing as they are working. Questions are so important. As a teacher, a piece of paper and as a poster can be set up on the wall and questions can be posted. The teacher can model a question or two to get the students thinking and going, or a visual can be posted where students ask questions. Math is about creativity and making sense. Why does that work? Have students build models, bringing in visual representations of what they're working on, and using number talks to help students explain their thinking, to think about the problems they're doing. Math is about connections and communicating. New understandings come from connecting ideas. Students represent math problems in different forms through words, pictures, graphs, equations. They talk over connections with each other and have rich learning opportunities. Value depth over speed is so important. Give students the time they need to think. Research says that time tests cause a lot of math anxiety, so those should be dumped. And choosing students who are not raising their hands can be very valuable. Math class is about learning, not performing. So positive and constructive comments and feedback is really important to give on their formative and summative assessments, making sure that we are grading for learning through questions, representing ideas in different ways, and making those connections. Here are some true stories from the classroom. As I grade tests, I like to highlight the first mistake that they've made on a problem and give the test back to the students to correct and figure out what they did wrong. And then I give them feedback, positive and constructive feedback, and put their grade on PowerSchool, not on the test. Some rich math tasks that I've done include how is the shape growing? Students colored how they saw the shape growing. They shared their ideas with each other. They connected their methods and then looked at how they saw the 10th shape growing, and then they worked together to create a poster. Adding decimals with base 10 blocks is another activity I've done, where students built a decimal, then they added and removed pieces of the base 10 blocks, depending if they were adding or subtracting. They exchanged smaller for larger, and in this they understand place value. Full body graphing is another activity I've done, where I've built a graph on the floor and wrote an equation on the board. Students find the slope and the y-intercept. They line up in the graph, and then I could change the slope and the y-intercept, and they would move accordingly. Using manipulatives to add fractions similar to base 10 blocks, I have linking cubes, so students build a fraction with the linking cubes. They add and remove cubes, they find a common denominator, they draw, they write, and they build connections between what they've done. Building those brain connections is really important. So at the beginning of the year, they crumple a picture of the brain, they throw out their frustrations with math, then they pick it up, trace the lines to see the new connections that will be made as the year progresses through tasks and struggles. How many sides are painted? I gave students sugar cubes. They built a 3x3 cube and pretend to dip it in blue paint. How many cubes have no sides painted? 1, 2, or 3 sides, and they created a poster within their groups. There are 5 C's of math engagement according to Joe Boller. Combine curiosity with making connections, challenging activities, creativity, and involving collaboration in the classroom makes for an ideal learning environment. In summary and hope, slowly implement these new norms in your classroom. Choose one thing that you would like to change now. Maybe it would be exit tickets at the end of each lesson, and only changing 10% a year so that as teachers we do not become overwhelmed. And on the next slide, I have a short video of some learning happening.